Welcome to Astridologie, the podcast that brings you knowledge, wisdom, and principles that can help you find the peace and comfort we all seek and deserve in our lives. Hey everybody, how are you doing? It's crazy to believe that we're already on February 10th, 2025. So I hope you're well. I hope everyone's doing well. I just popped on here real quick because I had a yoga class, and I will be back tomorrow to talk about the full moon in Leo. Leo is one of my favorite signs to talk about. So I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the 10 things you need to know about the full moon in Leo. But I hope you're well, your families are well, and everybody's doing better. I popped in here because I sent a post yesterday about these 5 protocols. They're on my podcast. I talked about 5 protocols. Even if you aren't recovering from lung health or have any issues like that, the antioxidants and the things that I spoke about are protocols that we all could be on. Of course, you want to check with your medical professional. But what I love about this day and time is that people are actually taking their own health into their own hands in full custody. We've all been to doctors and specialists who said something to us that just didn't sound right. You're like, that doesn't seem right. But then we felt, well, they're the expert. But turns out we have some expertise as well. Nobody knows what we're feeling inside. We can only articulate to a certain degree. So I'm here to help empower you about your own health and well-being, and particularly my people, my tribe here in Southern California, Los Angeles area, Calabasas, Malibu, Palisades, Altadena. It's just been crazy for us. And what's true about Los Angeles, that the air quality isn't that great in general. It's a challenging air quality with all the cars and all the congestion. So anyway, the point to come on today was just to show you what I actually used. Listen to the podcast. It's a 3-part podcast talking about these supplements in greater detail. So in part 1, I talked about, what did I talk about? I talked about NAC, and I talked about glutathione. So NAC, listen to the podcast, but it is a super antioxidant, supports your brain, your liver, your heart, and your immune function. Oftentimes, teachers and during cold and flu season, people will take NAC. So I love this brand, Life Seasons. And by the way, I'm not being paid to broadcast this, but Life Season, I love their formulations. They are unbelievable. So this is one that I started on. I actually started on Erewhon. Erewhon's brand is unbelievable. They're made from regenerative soil. They're made by a company that's been in the vitamin world, the organic vitamin world, for years. So oftentimes people think everything at Erewhon is crazy price, but I tell you, the supplements are amazing, and you get a good price on it. So I started taking Erewhon's NAC, and the glutathione of choice for me is Quicksilver. I love all of the Quicksilver remedies. Most of the formulations are in liquid form. You do it sublingual in the tongue. Now, again, if you can afford it and you can get the injections, God bless. But there's tablets, there's other forms of liquid, but glutathione is one that I cover in the podcast. So glutathione and NAC, that was part 1. So you have choices. There are other brands that make NAC and glutathione, but these are the ones that I trust and I use and that help me to recover. Okay. The next thing I talked about, in the second one, I isolated vitamin C. And I talked about the benefits of liposomal. So liposomal, I love Dr. Mercola's vitamin C. This is 1,000 milligrams. It's 2 tablets a day. And again, Dr. Mercola is doing the work. The products are efficacious. So There's so many C places out there. I love also Dr. Nigma's vitamin C. Hers is in a powder form that you put in liquid. But again, 1,000 milligrams is recommended. It helps your skin. I notice a shift in my skin, my gut. So vitamin C is an essential nutrient in general. Most people know it for immunity. As soon as we start to get sick, everyone jumps on vitamin C. So everyone knows vitamin C. So this is in part 2 in the podcast, Astridologie with Astrid, Astridlogie. I go into 3 protocols for lung health, cardiovascular health, and your immunity. And even if you're not in the LA fires, these are protocols that everyone should be taking. So that was part 2. And then in part 3, I talked about omegas. I broke down the omegas. Hey, Lauren, how you doing, my sweetie? Oh, I hope all is well. But omegas are essential. They are essential. I talked about omegas and I talked about flaxseed. Good old flaxseed. This brand is unbelievable. I have been using flaxseed for many, many years. This is my favorite. It's so wonderful. It's so nutty and so finely ground. So this is the brand that I use. So again, the NAC that I use Erewhon, and I love Life Seasons. Glutathione, I prefer the oral, under the tongue, the sublingual. Vitamin C, Dr. Mercola. And then for my omegas, again, I go back to Erewhon because their supplements are efficacious. They're so well made. The prices are lower than competitive, believe it or not, coming from Erewhon. But omegas, they're so important. I won't get into why. Just go to the podcast and watch. But you can search any of these. So the 5 protocols I called out was NAC, glutathione, vitamin C, omegas, and flaxseed. These are the basics. I also promised to share their companies. Some people don't want to take a bunch of formulas. So in particular, if you're fighting a cold, we're in cold and flu season. I've always been a rebel. I've always disliked antibiotics and Western medicine and over-the-counter cough syrups. But if I need an antibiotic, I'm not going to be crazy. I will take it, but I absolutely have to get there. So when I had this bronchial issue from the smoke and the fires, I never took an antibiotic. Sometimes naturopathy takes a little bit longer, but for the given time, because antibiotics, everyone knows they kind of destroy your microbiome. And then you got to take a bunch of probiotics to get your health back on track. But there are some remedies during cold season that I really, really love. So when I first got sick, the first thing I got on was lung capacity. Here's my favorite brand, Life Seasons, coming back through. Their NAC, but their lung capacity is unbelievable. This is kind of an add-on, Breathe X. Breathe X changed my life. I actually discovered this at a smoke shop, like a head shop. Someone told me this place in Woodland Hills, and I'm so sorry. I think it's Mother's. But anyway, I went there because someone said there was a gentleman that was an expert, and it took me weeks to connect with his schedule, but I have allergies, and I didn't want to take miss you too. How's Nola Linsky, my sweetie? But because I have asthma, so if you have asthma, if you have allergies, I have allergies and I have eczema. If you have eczema, Breathe X. It has nettle, quercetin, bromelain, vitamin C again, but this formula changed my life. If I stay on these, it's 3 caps a day, all natural. You don't feel groggy. You don't feel sleepy. Breathe X, okay? And this is going to also help with your lungs or any kind of chest congestion as well. Mighty Lungs. This is the second remedy that I took by Gaia. I was not playing around. See, the thing is, when we get ill, you got to knock it and hit it over the head with everything that you can. Sometimes people say, oh, you're taking too many things. Maybe, maybe not. But all I know is in the very early stages, you want to knock it out of the park. So I took lung capacity, Mighty Lungs. These are 2 things that I got on. Of course, I use vitamin C because it's for immunity. But these are other things. This is another remedy. This was new to me. And there are 3 protocols that they had. Deep lung. One of my colleagues really loved deep lung. So deep lung, this is by Wish Garden. This is 6 or 8 pumps in the mouth. It was so unbelievable. So I took deep lung capacity, mighty lung, vitamin C. And then to help get over the cough, I took these together, serious cough, to get over the cough. So again, these are natural remedies. Wish Garden. They make a lot of beautiful tinctures that are amazing. And then I didn't move into this one, but they have something called Get Over It. I love their titles of their protocols because they really, really work. So I stayed with these, and then I added on my glutathione. The minute I added glutathione and NAC, I swear there was a gigantic shift. Again, listen to the podcast to hear why these are so powerful. And last but not least, these are just extra add-ons. I was thinking about sharing things that, I have 2 sons that I raised, and they were raised with a natural cabinet. They didn't take the typical things. When they were babies, if I have to give them baby aspirin or something like that, but I always turned to natural remedies. When they went off to college, these were 2 things that were in their cabinets. Now, at first, their friends boo-ha-ha them like, what is this? What is all this stuff you're taking? They had zinc, they had these 2 items, and they had vitamin C. I gave them emergency packets because college campuses are a cesspool. So if you're sending your kids off to college this fall, get them these 2 things. GSC, grapefruit seed extract. Unbelievable. I have been using GSC, I would say now 22 years. When the boys were growing up, when they would start to feel, or kids would start to get sick at school, I get GSC. It's literally just from the seed of grapefruit, but GSC is a natural antibiotic. Unbelievable for the immune system. Maybe like 10 or 12 drops in your water 3 times a day when things are testy. And then while it's cold and flu season, I take about 1 dose every day just to protect myself. And then oregano oil, good old oregano oil. A lot of people feel that oregano oil is too strong, but 1 drop is life-changing. Again, these are natural remedies that act as antibiotics. They help our body's own immune system kick in and raise up the immunity. So that's it. That's why I hopped in to just show you exactly what I am using, the protocols that I use to help get over my lung. But again, glutathione, as I say, is glutathione, vitamin C, omegas are essential if you want overall well-being and health. I thank you for tuning in. And I'll be back tomorrow night to talk about the full moon in Leo that's coming in on Wednesday the 12th. I'll be back tomorrow on the 11th. Until then, stay well, take care. And, supplements, let me just say this before I go. There was a time when we didn't have to rely on taking so many things, but we're just not there anymore. Unfortunately, the way things are farmed, and we have so much oxidative stress. It's unbelievable. Before we do anything, there's so much in our environment. We are designed to expire, so to speak. And there are allergens, there's mold, there's even bugs. They're trying to take us down. That's their purpose. It's part of the cycle of life. So take care of yourself. Go the natural route. We're in a beautiful time where science and nature are meeting, and these protocols are working. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow in the next video when we talk about this full moon in Leo. Leo is one of my favorite signs, and I cannot wait. Have a good night, everybody. Namaste. Thank you for listening to Astridologie. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support the podcast, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about it by sharing this program on social media. You can also follow me on Instagram at Coda Life Goddess or at codalife.com. Coda is C-O-T-A, Coda Life Goddess or codalife.com. Thank you again for listening to Astridologie, and I'll see you next time.